Hi. I'm Jen Vazquez.
I'm Susan with Jireh Artistry. Jen's our guest speaker for today. Let's wait a second though
for people to get on. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I'm all doing that thing that you said you didn't like to do. Checking.
It's so fun. If you guys have questions, you can start typing them in right now. We'll be answering them as they come in, but in the interim, we have a plan. We're going to go ahead and talk about everything for engagement photography. And Susan's going to talk about the hair and makeup part. And then I'm going to go over just a couple tips for posing and a couple tips on picking your engagement photographer. So that's what we're going to go over today. So if you have questions, you can type them in as you go.
And we're going to also save this recording afterwards so you guys can watch it for the next 24 hours. Let me see if I could fit Jen in there better. There we go. We just need to scoot back a little. Yeah,
technical difficulties.
Yay. It's hard to see like who's on though.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll look afterwards.
Yeah, sounds good. Okay, so go ahead. Let's start with engagement photos.
Okay, so in regards to engagement photos, a couple tips in hiring a photographer. One, you'll probably want to go ahead and hire someone who's specializes in weddings and engagements. And the reason for that is because if you end up wanting to work with this person for your wedding, you want to make sure that they understand the craziness that is a wedding and how timelines can go askew and usually do. And being able to pivot and change and do what needs to be done to make sure to capture your big day. And most often, photographers have wedding packages that include engagement photos. So it's a really good idea to hire someone who's a wedding photographer, and then maybe you can get that all in one. Another thing is personality is key. So, if you like light and airy type photographs, or if you like more saturated photographs, whatever type of photographs that you like, you want to go ahead and hire a photographer, obviously, that takes those types of photos. But additionally, and I think sometimes even more importantly, you want to hire someone that you feel comfortable with. So when you feel comfortable and you enjoy that person that you're with, you will have better photographs. So you definitely want to hire someone that you instantly feel comfortable with and supported, and they'll help you to feel beautiful and take really good photos.
Yes, you want to remember that whoever you're hiring is going to be with you all day from start to finish. So you definitely want to make sure that your personalities click, and then also, of course, like the style of the photography matches your style and all of that. But personality is huge, and that's why doing the engagement session is a good trial run for you guys, because you can get to kind of see if you guys click, and then also see how the turnaround is on the photos. You could kind of evaluate everything all together.
Yeah, and you mentioned a really good point in terms of I always advise my brides-to-be, or when shooting engagement photos, to schedule their trial for the day that you're taking the photographs.
Oh, yeah.
For sure, because then you can go ahead and really see what the makeup looks like on film. Some brides will, want different hairstyles maybe for their wedding as they want for their engagement photos, but ultimately you definitely want to see how your images turn out, how your makeup looks, and that kind of thing.
Yeah, so a good tip that I have for that is if you want an updo, let's say, for your wedding day, and then for your engagement photos, your hair is going to be down and more relaxed. What we can do for the trial is we can do it up, and then we could take it down afterwards, so that'll be like ready for the engagement photos. So a lot of our brides do like to book their trial runs when they have either like a bridal shower or bachelorette party or engagement photos. Engagement photos is the best because you're usually doing those like way ahead of time, so that way you can book us before we get booked. Bachelorette parties and bridal showers usually happen a little closer to the wedding day, so there's more of a chance that we're going to be booked. But yeah, brides like to get two uses out of the hair and makeup trial. You know, it's more bang for your buck.
And it's a great way to see. A lot of people think when makeup artists that do makeup in particular for weddings, I almost always find brides say, oh, it's kind of dark. Oh, it's kind of dark. But really on film, it makes a big difference. It looks much different. Lipstick looks even lighter sometimes when you photograph it. And so in eye makeup, sometimes people feel like, oh, I don't feel like myself. But in images, it makes you look that much better, not like a different person. So it's a great way to test that out.
Yeah, that's a great tip.
How early do you think that brides should book you for their weddings, just out of curiosity?
Ideally, I would say like 8 months, ideally. But, you know, we're available as long as we have the date available.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
we have booked weddings like 4 weeks in advance. It just depends on how busy that date is.
So if you really want Susan or someone
Or
for your
team.
or her team for a wedding in particular, you'll want to definitely get in because I know you guys are pretty popular. Another couple tips for the engagement shoot is posing. And one simple little trick that I do with all of the brides that I'm working with for engagement shoots is, and grooms too. In fact, mostly grooms, because they do not care to take photos very much. The first thing I'll do is tell them
My
to
husband's the worst.
take a deep breath. And that just relaxes the shoulders, gives you a more relaxed face. Everyone's a little tense when they start to go take photographs. And it's, it's right up there with going to the dentist for some people, having to take photos. It's not the same as taking selfies of you and your friends. You're actually posing for someone and you're not seeing what these images look like right on the screen. And that's what most people are used to. So you definitely want to take a deep breath. That's always a good tip. Another tip is for the women in particular is you want to turn 3/4 lengths from the camera. So you don't want to be sideways to see all that side view, and you don't want to be straight on, because straight on you look 10 times wider than you do at 3/4 length. And so that's just a kind of tip. The other one is that you want to step back, put your hips to the back, where you're, resting your weight on one foot or the other. You rest your weight on the back foot, and it tends to help slim people down a little bit.
We love all those tips.
And
my brides are always talking about that.
A lot of my brides toward the end of the wedding, they'll have it down by that point, because we've worked together on the engagement shoot and we've worked together in all of the photos, and you'll see the bride, it's called the turtle. And so when you're sitting here, you got kind of a chin situation going on. If you put your head out just a little bit and down, it tightens up that jawline and it makes your eyes look bigger. So it's a really great tip that everyone loves, and they end up going, okay, what's the turtle? Oh, you got to do the turtle. And they're telling their friends to do the turtle.
Secret code. Yeah. The turtle's a big one.
It's a big one. So the other thing is that your photographer should be posing you for engagement shoots. Even if you have a documentary type of photographer, and that's somebody who just photographs what's going on in the moment, they will not pose you. The type of photography that I do in particular is lifestyle. So I love to document all the little moments that happen throughout the wedding, and brides always tell me, oh, I didn't know that was going on, or I didn't know that was going on, and they have all of that documented for the day. But when it comes to bridal portraits and bride and groom and family portraits, I do pose everyone. Put that hand on that hip, turn a little to the sideways, drop your chin a little bit. When you go to take a photo, the human reaction is to put your chin up. It's a pride thing, and everybody does it. It's crazy how everybody does it. And at the end of an engagement shoot, everyone will say to me, you kept telling me to lower my chin, but I love all the images. So what was my chin way up in the air? And it tends to be high. So you want it to be lower than you think it should go a lot of times. But your photographer should work with you and pose you and talk with you and get you to feel comfortable, so that all of the images, you're really comfortable and not stiff and not not like you.
Not robotic.
Yeah, you want to
that
be
will
relaxed.
show in the pictures if you're like robotic and structured. Hi Jess, you guys, any of you guys who are on, feel free to, comment, write any questions. That's why we're live, so that you guys can ask questions or chime in. It makes things fun. And yeah.
Yeah, let's see. Can we see if anybody has had any questions prior without ruining this whole situation?
Said hello.
Oh, well, hello. Anybody have any questions in terms of engagement photos that we can answer for you?
Hi, Pawan.
Oh, I saw a little heart. That's so fun.
Give us the hearts, guys.
I think one thing that I love working with Susan and her team, her whole team, is that they're really good on time management. And I've worked enough weddings that timelines do not go as they're supposed to go. And 9 times out of 10, it's because a vendor, and oftentimes it's the makeup or the hair person, goes off the timeline. Now, oftentimes it's the bride too. She doesn't get dressed when she's supposed to, or she doesn't wake up when she's supposed to, or a friend was late with their car, something happens, and it's hard when that timeline goes off. So one thing I really appreciate working with Susan is that you guys are super timely. If you say it's going to be an hour, it's done under or right at an hour. Like it's really, really good, unless something crazy happens, but it's not been my experience. So anybody that's looking to hire her team, that's from a photographer standpoint, that is key.
Thank you. Our little trick to that is normally our artists take about 30 to 45 minutes per service, but we book an hour per service just so we have cushion time or in case of emergencies or unforeseen circumstances. We also don't want our brides to feel like super rushed or hectic.
Oh, that's good.
They don't want to feel like, they're on a assembly line. So, they want to enjoy their day and enjoy their morning. So it's good for all of us,
and maybe having
the artists to provide quality service and not, to feel relaxed, but then also for the clients to feel relaxed.
Well, also, I think that you're really good too at knowing if you need more artists, that a bride isn't having to get up at the crack of dawn because there's everybody wants hair and makeup. You know what I mean? I've seen that situation where I come to photograph a bride and she's been literally, all the girls have been up for the last 10 hours getting their hair and makeup done, and that's sad.
It's crazy.
Because then you're into the evening for your wedding and you're exhausted.
Yep. So we book 4 to 6 services per artist. That's how we figure out how many artists we're going to bring to your wedding day. Yeah.
Oh, that's really smart.
Yeah.
So
that's about as much as we can do without being overwhelmed or starting too early.
Yeah.
We have done more services per artist, like if there's add-on services, but then we just extend the timeline or whatever.
Smart.
And that's usually happens if there's just add-on services on the day of.
Yeah. And Susan did my makeup when my son got married just a few weeks ago, and also my daughter-in-law, and it was awesome. Yay. It was really fun. So
that was fun. That was a gorgeous location.
It was so pretty.
Oh my gosh. I tried to get some snaps of the environment. I didn't have time.
I got a ton for you. Yeah, it was awesome.
Sorry guys, I'm sick, so if you see me looking like crazy right now, it's because I'm sick. I'm trying to contain myself.
I can't even tell. Your energy level is perfect.
Yay.
All right. Well, I think we might.
Is that it? You don't have any more tips for us?
No.
Okay, perfect.
I did 2 or 3 tips for the posing and for hiring an engagement photographer. And if there's no questions at this point, I think we might be.
Okay, I do want to say, though, I do want to promote you a little because since you had some nice things to say about me, I want to say what I love about Jen. So I met Jen, 2 years ago, about 2 years ago, and we've worked on so many projects together. We've done weddings together, but she is always early.
Obsessively.
Obsessively. Today she was early. She's always early, and doesn't matter if it's something casual or if it's professional, she's just gonna be there early. That's just how she rolls. So that's great. The time, on your wedding day, the timeline is so important. So that speaks volumes to her. But also, like, her personality, she's just so fun and easy to easy to work with, and she's always smiling, always happy. So yeah, she's definitely someone that you can hang out with all day on your wedding day.
Wow, now I can go home feeling great. Thank you so much. And 2 more opportunities. If anybody's getting married out there, we could be a team.
Oh yeah, definitely. Okay, guys, so if there's no more questions, we're gonna head out.